Next on Worcester News Tonight, it's the first day of spring, but temperatures feel more like winter and snow is on the way. Plus, a rally to save public transit held at Worcester City Hall tonight. Hear what supporters had to say. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Anna Botari. A rally to save public transit at Worcester City Hall tonight. Organizers say Governor Charlie Baker's proposed budget would level fund transit authorities and threaten service. Dozens of people, including Worcester leaders, city councilors, and state representatives, showed up in support. With a $900,000 deficit, the Worcester Regional Transit Authority is considering cuts, including eliminating weekend service, reducing a number of weekday routes, and getting rid of some routes altogether. Eliminating service would make it more difficult for Worcester bus riders like Tim Shea to go about their daily lives.
Waste. I probably would have to get a bicycle or some kind of junky car that would probably end up in the garage more often than on the road. So it would be a hardship. You know.
Amalgamated Transit Union Local 22, who organized the rally, say the goal is to have public transit fully funded.
For some reason, taking a bus has become a luxury or a privilege. For us, it's a basic human right, and it should be treated as such. So that's our message to the governor. I hope the governor is watching tonight, and that's our message to him, is fully fund the RTAs.
Members of Local 22 are asking people to reach out to their local representatives to urge the governor to amend his budget. The Registry of Motor Vehicles is reminding customers starting Thursday, all of their locations and online services will be closed for updates. They will not process transactions until Monday. It means Worcester's RMV location, all AAA RMV sites, and state inspection stations will be closed. The RMV is transforming its business processes and replacing its computer system. According to the RMV, its new system, Atlas, will provide customers with a more convenient experience overall. All activity will resume Monday, March 26th at 8 a.m. Towns in central Massachusetts are preparing for the fourth nor'easter to hit Wednesday. Holden's Department of Public Works was checking equipment Tuesday to make sure it's ready to go. They have 25 pieces of equipment treating more than 120 miles of roadway. The director says the recent storms have taken a toll on their employees.
It starts to wear on you after a while. The guys are out there long stretches at a time. At least they've been spaced out a little bit, but it's part of the job. It comes with the territory, so everybody kind of just grins and bears it and keeps on doing what they do.
The director also says they've gone over their $500,000 yearly snow budget by about $25. Spring began today, but another snowstorm is on the way. While some businesses are preparing for warmer weather, they're going to have to wait a little longer. Our Rosalind Flaherty explains.
Ed Bemis has a greenhouse full of flowers in North Brookfield. The hope was to start selling them on St. Patrick's Day.
Learned that Mother Nature starts spring when she wants to start spring.
Both the season and planting are on hold with another nor'easter on its way. Bemis says they start growing flowers in their greenhouses in February and hopes they will be ready to go for spring.
We have learned not to try to push things too much. All of us have been inside all winter. We're raring to go.
Bemis says people seem to be having cabin fever and his phone hasn't stopped ringing. He says the good news is flowers like pansies and violas can go out in a few weeks, even if there's snow on the ground.
If it's going to go below 20, it's probably a little bit tough on them. You might lose some open flowers, but it's not going to hurt the plant at all.
In Worcester, VIP Landscaping was planning to get their properties ready for spring, but Tuesday they were preparing for the snowstorm.
It's a shock to the system, but I'll take it, this being this late in the season.
They received 3 deliveries of salt, which they will use to start pre-treating their properties, and could be out plowing for most of the day Wednesday.
What helps you get through?
Red Bull. Lots of Red Bull.
Rosalind Flaherty, Worcester News Tonight.
The Worcester Public Schools have announced Wednesday will be an early release day. Schools will be dismissed 2 hours early. It helps the administration save a snow day, which are piling up this season. It brings us to a poll question I asked on Twitter tonight. Would you rather have more snow days during the school year or no snow days and get out of school on time earlier in June? 78% of you responded no snow days, you're ready for summer, and I couldn't agree with you more. And as the snow approaches, the city of Worcester is preparing for plowable amounts. The city is putting its winter parking ban into effect Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. This means no parking on either side of roadways. The ban is strictly enforced with ticketing and towing. According to Worcester's DPW, the city towed more than 340 vehicles during last week's storm. Switching gears, a longtime deputy chief at the Worcester Fire Department is saying goodbye later this week. 30-year veteran John Sullivan has accepted the chief's position at the Brookline Fire Department. He says he had hoped to become Worcester's fire chief, but the opportunity didn't work out here. He says the position was open to candidates across the country, and it's a big opportunity to work in the Metro Boston area.
I'm looking forward to it. I'm going to miss the members of the Worcester Fire Department. You know, this has been my family for 30 years. We've gone through a lot together, and through the 99 fire and then the loss of John Davies and 2011, and it's certainly been, we've had some difficult times, and it's been a roller coaster ride. But I think in the long run, this fire department has proven itself to be resilient. The members of this fire department have, truly banded together in a lot of ways and made the general fire service better, and I'm proud to have been a small part of that over these years.
Sullivan says he was born and raised in Worcester, and his family is still here, so the city will always have a place in his heart. After speaking in New Hampshire Monday, President Trump is facing some criticisms on one of his proposals to combat drug abuse. In the speech, the president included the idea of giving some drug dealers the death penalty. Our Cam Jandro has reaction from Worcester area treatment centers.
President Trump addresses opioids in front of a New Hampshire crowd Monday. One of his ideas to curb the epidemic include the death penalty for some drug dealers.
If you break the law and illegally peddle these deadly poisons, we will find you, we will arrest you, and we will hold you accountable.
The Counseling and Assessment Clinic of Worcester provides mental health and addiction recovery services to people with substance abuse issues. Assistant Director Bridget Hilton says killing drug dealers won't solve the country's epidemic.
But the way that we can stem the tide on this epidemic is not through punishing drug dealers. It is through providing prevention and education for people at the local level and communities across the country.
According to Spectrum Health Systems, roughly 64,000 people in the country die every year due to opioids. Although he disagrees with the death penalty as punishment, President and CEO Kurt Isaacson says there still are positive takeaways from the president's speech.
I was very pleased to see him express an interest in reducing the number of prescriptions for opioids. That's a good thing. Increasing access to treatment is another really wonderful thing that was in the speech.
The Department of Public Health counted more than 1,500 opioid-related overdose deaths in Massachusetts alone last year. Hunter Foote is executive director of the Vanderburg Sober House in Worcester. He says addiction impacts everyone, so the death penalty is unnecessary.
These are sons and daughters. We've had attorneys apply, we have professionals, we have blue-collar workers, and the only way that we can overcome this disease is by banding together.
The Vanderburg House serves dozens of former addicts every day, and Foote recognizes the need for action against the opioid crisis.
We deal with the folks that struggle with this on a daily basis, and I hope that our federal and state regulators can effectively work on the supply side and on the legislation side.
Cam Jandro, Worcester News Tonight.
A new study released Tuesday shows Worcester would be an ideal location for more state offices. The Research Bureau says the state could save money by bringing more properties here due to the lower cost market and opportunities in the city. Currently, Worcester is only home to about 7% of the state's buildings. Executive Director Timothy McGorthy says this would also bring more jobs, so it would be a win-win for both the Bay State and the city.
In reality, what we're saying is the state should undertake a review, that they should look at what offices require a Boston address, what do not, and find ways to locate those that do not out of Boston. And Worcester is a great opportunity. We have commuter rail, we have access, we're central, but also other gateway cities have similar cost benefits of offices that might be located there, and similar economic development opportunities by bringing more jobs into those areas.
McGrothy says Worcester's median office price is about half of what Boston's costs. He says the goal of the report is to continue the conversation about where the state locates administration offices. The new head of the Massachusetts State Police announcing today an internal audit has found possible overtime abuse by troopers. Colonel Kerry Gilpin is looking into allegations troopers were paid overtime for shifts they didn't work. The allegations involve 20 active troopers and 1 retiree. The active troopers will now face hearings. All were assigned to a troop who patrols the Mass Pike. They face a maximum punishment of suspension without pay.
It's very disheartening, not just to me, but to all the hardworking members of the state police. I came on this job for a reason, to make a difference, for public respect, for public trust, and to think that these alleged actions occurred, not just prior to me, but now under my watch, and that's why we've expanded it to go Commonwealth-wide, and we're looking at all the overtime patrols to make sure that this does not happen again.
The audit has been forwarded to the State Attorney General's office, which will determine if crimes were committed.